The street begging actually has numerous disadvantages for both the individuals and obviously also the society at large. It really does foster a dependency syndrome where people are dependent on these handouts and they would not want to take up any other opportunities that will come their way to improve their life or their livelihood for better. So it's really the city is trying to discourage the public members from giving or donating or giving money to the people begging in the streets, with the idea that if we stop that or we discourage this practice, individuals that are actually seeking donations in the street will go back to the centers that are already in places. Ministry of Gender has a center. The City of Windhoek also has various soup kitchens that is supporting, where they can go and also benefit from other skill development programs that are being provided at those centers. So we want to actually break this cycle of dependency so that we can also eliminate any other root cause. Like most of the people also, they end up being abused, they get involved in crime, and they end up being exploited also through this process. And some of the money that we actually give to the people that are begging in the streets does not really end up improving their livelihoods or their lives, because some of them end up buying drugs and so on, which is really just destroying the person. And we want people to live a better life in our city, and we believe, me and you and I, we can actually make a great contribution if we stop this handout of money in the streets, and the people can actually get a better way of living and break from this cycle of poverty.
Yeah. Now, the City of Windhoek has suggested that the public should rather donate to existing organizations that directly give the beggars money or help them. But some argue that if these institutions were doing their job to begin with, there would be no street beggars. So what is your take on this?
Well, I think we also need to be honest and realistic in the type of society we are dealing with. We have seen it, especially during COVID, when we were rounding up people to put them into the centers and put them in the more coordinated environment, and even after. We still continued the process of, removing some of these people from the streets and put them at the centers, but they will stay for a day or two and they go back to the streets. And the argument mostly is that they prefer it in the streets. They got used to getting money every day and they prefer to live that way. But that is now some. Obviously, others have their reasons. Some will tell you they have families, they have houses where they are coming from, but they still prefer it in the street because of this and that reason, and obviously the circumstances are different. So I don't want to put the blame on the centers to say they are not doing their job. Probably what needs to happen is actually to determine or investigate why are these people do not want to live at those centers that are provided, and why are those that are actually living there has started improving, because I think it becomes also not a personal choice, because some of the people cannot really make those decisions by themselves.
Yeah.
We had a team that we took to Farm Okukuna, the farm that belongs to the City of Windhoek, to do some work with their hands and obviously sell some of this produce and make a living, an honest living. And some of them, they left exactly for the same reason, to say they prefer it the other way around. However, there are also positive cases where people have been taken out of the streets and now they are living a better life. So we believe there is an opportunity out there if we work together as a community. The community can support us by reducing the street children to get involved, and adults that are actually begging in the streets, and get into various programs like mentorship programs, volunteering. And when we donate to shelters and those rehabilitation centers, they do get benefits, to not only to get food, but they get more benefits in terms of skill development and other rehabilitation programs that they can participate in. So, yes.
Yeah. Now, the City of Windhoek has also recently introduced a waste buyback initiative. Are these street beggars aware of this project and getting involved actually to earn money? How will it contribute to street begging?
Um, I think we need to get one thing correctly. When we're talking about people begging in the streets, it's people actually asking for people to give them money.
Yeah.
Give me a $10, a $5, just to give money for nothing, you see. And the people that are recycling or they are collecting recyclable materials that they are recycling at the center, any recycling facilities, including the City of Windhoek Katutura Buyback Center. This is more of a work. The person is actually trying to find their bread in an honest way. They collect the recyclables, then they take them to the center. They get on the scale and they get the amount that they are getting from their waste that they've collected. And I think that is actually totally different. These people that are begging, you might have seen a lot of them in the streets. They beg, they just want, please give me, I need. And most of them will tell you, I need to go buy this and that. But if you give them money, you will see them that they are not actually buying that. I've seen, we had the situation here by just the traffic lights where in Robert Mugabe, where a public member was asked for something, but they gave, I think, bread, and that bread was thrown to the car. So when the person was driving off, then the child just threw the bread on the car. So meaning, it's not necessarily that everyone is there because they are really only want bread. Some of them are now addicted to other substances that need to actually be removed from the street so that they can get help. Because I don't think there's anyone who truly want to leave home and want to live in the streets. Obviously, the circumstances are different, but we need to get involved as a community and support in the way we can. And I believe giving them money is not supporting them. It's actually keeping them in the streets and continue with the cycle of the children, their grandchildren, everyone who starts living in the streets thinking it's actually the good thing to do.
Yeah. Now, you've mentioned earlier that there were attempts to get street children off the streets, but they keep returning and they prefer that way to go back to the streets. What reasons have they given to leave these centers to go back to the streets?
You see, the centers is a more coordinated, those centers are more coordinated environment and there's also rules as to the do's and don'ts. And obviously, when you get used to stay on your own terms as well, you would not really want to be controlled or to be in an environment where you feel like you are not free in terms of movements and so on. So those are some of the issues that we are picking up from our law enforcement when we get to hear these feedbacks in terms of they are going back to the street. Some are saying some were successfully returned to their families where they are coming from, and they stay there maybe for a week or so, a few days, and then they go back to the streets again. And they are saying, some of them are saying they are hustling. They believe they are working in the streets like that. So, as I mentioned, we need more solutions, not only to provide them with more sustainable solution, but also for rehabilitation and obviously reintegrating them into society once they have gone through this process. But we can't do it when we are continuously providing them with money when they are begging. And in that manner, we actually the one encouraging them to stay in the street. But if we stop, they definitely would want to go back to the center or the shelter with an option where they can also learn more to attend other programs like skills development, and they also have an opportunity for some of them to go back to school. We do have cases of some kids that were taken off the streets and they went back to school and they are still in school. So it's possible. It just needs us as community and the residents to be committed and to work together, to collaborate and work together to make sure that we try our level best. We do understand. People are saying, yeah, it's our money. We decide how we want to give this money. It's easy to say now, but until that one day when you have realized that what you actually have done, you have contributed to keeping this person on the streets and you not help them much to improve their lives.
Yeah. And just finally, Lydia, what has the City of Windhoek and other stakeholders like the Ministry of Gender and Poverty Eradication established about the background of the street beggars, and what are their statistics? Has the number increased over the years?
I don't have the data throughout the years. All I can say is that we successfully, together with other stakeholders, had those. There were a group of young kids that were selling sticks in the city. At one point, they were actually taken off the streets. But you might have also noticed now that they are back again. This is just an example of the group of people that are in the streets. Now, the group that is back, as we speak, I don't know exactly how many, but I think the numbers that is being mentioned for those that are at some of the places like the Komasdal Stadium and the other ones are at our, what is it, Katutura Teacher Resource Center, that side. That total number is around 300, over 300 people that are staying there. But those that are roaming around the streets, I don't have that statistic. However, what we are doing with other stakeholders, we are busy actually exploring plans and support solutions to see how we can support these young people that are on the streets, and of course the adults that are in the streets, because there are also very, very young kids in the streets, and it's not safe for them. Anything can actually happen to them. They can be abused. Anything can really happen to those kids. And obviously the adults, they are also in different states in terms of mental state. Some are not doing so well in terms of also psychological wise. Others are okay, but the street is a street. It's rough out there. They need to be supported. So what we are looking at with other stakeholders is really to find solutions to keep these people off the streets. And this is actually one of the initiative or one of the discussion that came out of these committees that is chaired by the Honorable Governor of Commerce Region, where we are looking at how we can eliminate this situation and, of course, improve it for better. We have stakeholders from various ministries, and we are just looking at how we can improve the situation, obviously including also how can we integrate these people back into their families, and how can we maybe see how what is causing them to be in the street in the first place, because some of them are indicating that they don't have homes. Some have homes, but the situation at home is not conducive, and they prefer to be on their own in the street. So this is what we are looking at. But it's not the City of Windhoek nor the stakeholders and the ministry's responsibility alone. If we in the community, we are actually supporting these people to stay in the street. So we need to work into the same finding the good solution or the sustainable solution, and working in the same direction. Because if others are trying now to move into this direction, and you still have people that are continuously providing for the people in the streets, then it's not going to work. We are not saying people should not be assisted; they are hungry, but we need to find a mechanism on assisting them in a very well coordinated manner that will actually create long-term impact.